See. Okay. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to do that. No, but I have presents. You're welcome. I know it is weird. Now you can leave. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now you can leave mine alone. That she said that sounds very violent. I said he said. Did I not say he said? Okay. But no, I don't need. They're struggling to open the package. Okay. Let's see. Slideshow. It's gonna take a minute to get like it's going oh, the blue is pretty. Mine used to be crystal clear in it too, but now it's all from and poor Brittany can't even get hers out of the thing. You're cracking me up. And my presenter view is on the wrong thing. Let's try that one. That works. Okay. Share. I'd be scared. Okay. I just need to find one more screen and then it'll be good to go. Chat, don't need those. Doop, 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 doop. That's the one I want. That one. Okay. That's the one I want. I love it. I love it. Okay. I know you like pink, so okay. Okay. No IT assistance, but thank you, IT workers. So I have this squishy thing. I'm on Teams. Sorry. I'm not talking to you. I love you, but I'm not talking to you. And it's like Nido or something. I don't know. But I've got a cube and I've got, yes, because they keep stealing mine. You don't have anxiety. You wouldn't understand. Yeah. Why would you squish them? Because I can't punch people in the face? I mean, I'm just saying it's socially unacceptable to, no, I'm just saying it gives my hands some, it gives, okay, I'll buy you one next time I go to the toy store. But everyone fights over my little Play-Doh thing. I mean, I get that. I feel that. Not just because my hand's something to do. Okay. It's chilly in here today. She says I just go home and drink. Okay. The things I learn every day. I was going to do something and I can't remember what I was going to do. Oh, I do. Okay, hold on. I remember now. I was going to turn that the ding 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 dong thing off. Okay. Okay. We got this going on. Okay. So, pandas. I don't know, for some reason the lab is still not liking pandas, but that's okay. So I just opened up my own and I've got some examples and we'll take a look at pandas. So what is pandas? So let me make sure I'm recording. Yeah, I think I am. Yes. Okay, perfect. So it's a module for data analysis, manipulation and visualization. I tried to combine too many words together. And here we go. I did put the link in there, and there's all kinds of things getting started. The API reference is actually a very good one. So you can look up specific functions. Um, you can also go to getting started, and it you can actually say like, okay, how do I read and write? Okay, so um, it is going to work best with something that is relational or labeled. So picture your Excel spreadsheet kind of on steroids. Okay. It's the high level building block for real world data analysis using your Python. It is built on top of NumPy. So most of the capabilities you have in NumPy, you're able to do in Pandas because it's kind of built as an extension of that. Okay. So the data, we're looking at tabular data, heterogeneously typed columns such as SQL table, Excel spreadsheet, things like that. Okay. Ordered or unordered, doesn't matter, time series. Arbitrary matrix data works as well with rows and column labels. Um, any other form of observational statistical data sets. Okay. It does not need to be labeled in order to be put it in that Pandas structure. Um, but it is one of the benefits of the Panda structure. Pandas come in two different data structures. So I've got a series and I've got a data frame. A series is one dimensional. Think of it as a column of data. So something that's related, right? The data frame is two dimensional. Think of it as a table, spreadsheet, database, labeled rows and columns. Okay. Um, your data frame can have different data types, doesn't really matter. Um, and it'll know what to do. So what does it do well? Well, error handling, missing data. We're going to talk a little bit about we do with missing data or those NANs that we get in the data sets. And it does work well for both string and floating point, non-floating point, doesn't matter. Okay. It does do very easy handling of that the blanks, not a numbers. Columns can be inserted and deleted from your data frame, and it's very, very easy to do. Automatic and explicit data alignment. Okay, so you can actually create series from your data frames. Um, and let's see, powerful, flexible, easy to use, easy to convert data. Um, a lot of cool little things that are in there. Um, intelligent base, label-based slicing, fancy indexing. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Intuitive merging and joining, free shaping, pivoting, labeling of axes, lots of I/O tools. And that's really where it starts to excel. Okay, we're going to look at some CSV, delimited, Excel, database. It can read and write to all those different formats. And it's really cool at kind of doing that. And it's just very nonchalant, very easy. Um, time series specific functionality, date range, generation, frequency, conversion. It does the time. Remember, time is the one that's a little wonky because of the way it's structured, but Pandas does it really well. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do our import pandas. Typically, we do import pandas as PD. PD is the standard practice for pandas. So you will see most code that you find is going to say pandas as PD. And then from there, you just say PD dot whatever. Okay. So if you ever see that, that's what it's talking about. Now, if I want to create a data frame, I can do so just by saying PD dot data frame, D capital. Oh, I need to capitalize that F. Hold on. I'm just going to be OCD about this for like 0.2 seconds. Um, ah, data frame. There we go. Um, and then what you send it is a list of dictionaries. You can also have column information, index information. Um, each dictionary is a row, and the keys are the columns. So if you look at this example here, I've created a data frame, and I just kind of made a dictionary on the fly. So name, and here's a bunch of names. Age, here's my ages, and then sex, male and female. Okay. Then when I print out the data frame, one of the nice things about it is the way that it does output. So for this, it's going to output, it's going to use the keys as the column headers. So name, age, and sex. And then it's going to do row by row, basically connecting the dots. So if I were to look at it or think about it in an Excel spreadsheet or a spreadsheet of some kind, it would look over kind of like what's over here on the right, right? You'd have name, age, and sex, and they're all kind of connected. And again, the reading and writing of the files in Pandas is really kind of its sweet spot. So two different ways to do it. I could do a read underscore table from a file or a URL. Here I can specify a separator, a header, names, and index columns. So the SEP is the delimiter. The default is a tab. So the default is a tab delimited file. The header is going to default to the first row of information. It's going to assume that those are the headers. The easier way to do it, especially if it's a CSV, is it actually has read underscore CSV. Super easy. Okay. So this here, the example I have is Titanic, and it is a bunch of information regarding passengers on the Titanic. So here, my data frame Titanic is equal to panda.read CSV, and then I read in the file. So a few things that we can do, what we need to do, we need to kind of get a feel for the data. Make sure that what we think was imported. It was imported successfully. It was imported correctly, all those kinds of things. So we can do that with head and tail. So head is going to show you the first 5, I think is the default at the beginning, and tail will show you 5 at the end. Well, you can change that with a number. And um, like, so if I put 8, it's going to show me 8. Okay, so you can expand it to other things. Now I can get some info about my data frame. There's a few different ways. So the first one is the data frame.info, and that's going to give me kind of more Python-y data. Just bear with me. On your data frame. So these are my column names. Are non-null. What is it? What is my data type? Okay, so here I've got integers, I've got objects, which is going to be my string. I've got some float numbers, I've got a few other integers. Here it's how much memory usage. The other one that we can do is describe, and that is going to be that statistical data, the descriptive statistical data on the statistical data on what was there, right? On the data frame. Now it's only going to pull out the numerics. Okay, so here it's gonna pull out the ones like passenger ID, survived, P class. Oops, wrong way. Because those are going to be integers. It's going to do it on the floats and the ints. It's going to skip the objects. Okay. So it's only going to display back to you the ones that are numeric. Now, what it does display though is a count, the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum, 25, 50, 75, and then the maximum. Okay. Now for count, I can look kind of across and I can actually say, okay, my ages there, it looks like there's some blanks in age or there's some NANs, right? Because if I have 891 passenger IDs, but only 714 ages, there's probably some blanks in there, and that's what that's accounting for. Okay, so let's take a look real fast so let's see, I'm gonna restart my kernel because I don't know when I started this last was. Well, great, thanks. That's wonderful. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh, I know why. Y'all, why is there always something wrong? Dun, 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 dun. Because I closed that. That's what was wrong. Okay, hold on. I had it all set up and ready to go, and then I didn't. Let's try that again. Jupiter. There we go. My notebook. Okay, there it goes. I was like, it did not like me there. It is connecting. There we go. Now, this notebook, I did download the notebook. I also put the data file. They're both together in Moodle and under, I think I put like lecture example or something. So if you want to kind of go look and kind of play with it, have at it. It's available there for you. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import my pandas as my PD because that's always what we do. Let's see if I can. I was going to try to zoom in. So the first thing I'm going to do pd.read my CSV, and it's a text file, but it's kind of as a CSV, even though it's a .txt. It's fine. Um, and then I'm just going to print it out. So as soon as I do that, it reads in everything. You can see it kind of truncates it a little bit here. So it does the first 4 or 5, it does the last 5. Um, and then there's some little dots that kind of connect everything. Now, one thing that it did do is it kind of put this like random ID number, but I don't really need that. So um, I can add oh Lord, a word. Words are hard. I can add this in there. Hello. Hold on 1 second. What's up? No, I'm telling. Sorry. Okay. 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 Perfect. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So to get rid of this weirdo number, I can do add the argument. That's the word I was trying to figure out. The argument of index underscore column equals 0. So it would take that passenger ID as like the row ID, and it wouldn't add that extra 0. Doesn't matter. Six of one, half dozen of the other. But I'm going to go ahead and just strip it out because it's just one less thing in one less column I have to figure out. Okay. Now some of the things here, it's zeros and ones if you survived the class, passenger class, name, sex, age, um, and I mostly kind of stay within the age. Oh, there's that not a number we were talking about. Remember I talked about the count? There, right there, that's why some of them it was less than others, right? So here, if I say head 5 or 10, it will give me the first 10. I could also do like, I don't know, what do I want to do? Let's do 15. I could do head 15 and it'll give me the first 15. Okay. Tail does the opposite, okay? And it's just the way that it's loaded in from the CSV file. So here I do tail. I've got 10. Thank you. So I could do 15 and it would give me the last 15. Again, if I put blank, it's going to give me, I believe, 5. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's 5. Okay. Um, so head and tail are kind of good. Again, it gets you kind of like the warm and fuzzies on what's going on. So here's the info one. So it says it's a class pandas. It is a data frame. There's 891 entries from 1 to 891. Here's my columns, my non-null, my data types, all my different types. I've got 5 objects, 4 integers, and 2 floats. Okay. So that's a bunch. Remember, that's like the Python-y-ish information, not necessarily information like regarding anything about the data. Now, the data is under the describe. So here, I'm just going to run it again. Here's my describe. It's going to take all of those numerics and it's going to do the count, mean, standard deviation, minimum. Now, I removed this 0, 1, and I'm using the passenger ID kind of as the index. Because of that, it's no longer in the describe. It knows that it's not like a data point. It's just being used as an identifier. Okay, so that's why it's no longer showing up in the table. But here I've got my count, my median, my standard deviation. I can find as a whole for the data frame this information for any of the attributes. Okay. Now I can look at some of them. I think, let me see where my there we go. Yeah. So I can also look for those specific statistics without using the whole table. Okay. So the describe, remember, is going to give me all of that information for all of the columns that are numeric. Cool. What if I don't want all those columns? What if I have 50 columns and my table under describe is like super long? I can actually say data frame and I can send it the key and then I can use um, the stat after it. So I can say data frame and then say age and then say the sum and it would give me the sum of the ages. Okay. Some of the other things that it does is I can do some aggregates. So I can find my IDX max, IDX min, the index of the max and min. Um, and then I can also kind of mix and match some of these aggregates and create additional information. Okay, so let me put my notebook back up here, friends. So here, if I want to say, what is the minimum age, I can do it in this form, right? dot min, and it would give me 0.42. So they did ages in decimals, so that's fine. Now I could also do it in this way. Okay, so that's you can call the different keys in multiple different ways. Okay, the biggest thing with this is please make sure that these keys, it is going to be case sensitive. If it starts yelling at you, check your capital letters because I know that from personal experience. It's fine. Okay, so this is one way to do it, putting it in the square brackets using the key, or you can use it in this way just without, I don't know. To me, that's like it's what, like three less keystrokes, but it's still totally worth it. Um, and then I can do max, I could do min, I can do sum, I could do all of those things that I could do before. Now, some of the aggregate I've got, so give me it out of the ages, right? Dot AGG, and I'm give me the ID min of and the min and the ID max and the max. So it finds the first ID and it's at 804 and it has a minimum of that 0.42. It's kind of what we found before. And then the ID X max is 631, so that's the index, remember? And the max is 80. Okay. Again, I can do this with that other kind of notation like this. Oh, that's a lot to type. So I may just do IDX min and min because I'm just too lazy to type any more than that. Um, and I can do it in that form as well. Okay. Okay, so selecting data, I can select by in a few different ways. So the first one is by index. That is going to give me column data. Okay. Um, the second one is by slice. That's going to give me rows. So when I'm looking at columns, I can do it by column name. Um, or I can do it the dot column name. I kind of just showed you that with the other one, right? So I could either put the column name in the quotes inside the square brackets, or I can do the dot column name. Now, there's a few things to be careful of. If your column name has a space in it, you cannot do this way. Okay, so let's see, what column names do I have here? Oh, I think mine were all good. Mine all actually, none of them seem to have a space in it. But if for some reason one of your column names has a space, you cannot do it in this way. You have to do it in the way with the quotes. Okay, just so that you're aware. If you want to create a new column, you also have to use the quotes. Okay, so that's going to be kind of your caveat whether you are able to use one or the other. For the most part, if you stick to the convention of like single words for being column headers, you can pretty much use them interchangeably, okay? It's gonna return a series. Now remember, we have a series and we have a data frame. A series is the column. Think of it just kind of as the column of data. Um, and then I can also select a kind of like a subgroup of my full data frame, if I send it multiple column names, it's going to return a data frame that is sort of a selection of that. Okay, so for this example, where did I do? Here, I have a name. So if I say Titanic and I put name in quotes, it's going to give me the same thing that you see right here on 15 with Titanic.name. Okay. And literally the output is identical. Okay. So those I can use interchangeably. Now, if it said something like full space name, I would not be able to do it this way, right? Because it's going to see the space and it's going to think you're done and it's going to panic. So not a big deal. Now I can this is creating that subsection. So if I said create a data frame and I can set this equal to something, right? Titanic, and I say, give me these two things, name and age only, it would pull name and age. It would keep that passenger ID as the index, but use name and age and pull name and age out of the full data frame. So this is good for kind of getting rid of some of that information that you're not going to need later on. Okay. Now I can, why do I always do that? Now I can select it by slice, which means I'm selecting specific rows. And to do that, I would do a start and a stop. Okay. And to do that, so for example, here, if I say 3 to 7, it's going to give me 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. So this created a subset again by row, not by column. Okay. Then you can combine some of them, right? So here, oh, that's a location one. Wrong one. Now, if I say it was to be done explicitly, it would be using the name because the name is never going to change. Okay. If I say I want to do it implicitly, it would be using the number because the number could possibly change. And so if I say column three may not always have the same information in it. So it's implicitly given. So using those explicit names is always going to be more accurate. Okay. And then that way, if your CSV changes, if something changes, you know you're still getting the information that you think. Okay. Now, LOC, it's a little I, LOC, and I think there's a typo in the notes, so it should be little I. LOC and LOC, it is locations, LOC and ILOC. Implicit location, explicit location. Okay. So, for example, if I come over here and I say in what is the location of the age on lines 3 to 8. Okay, so I'm kind of back up here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's going to pull out specifically the ages right here, 35, not a number, 54, and that's what it's going to give you. Okay, so it is the index location of something that you're given it. Okay, so I want to look in 4, I'm going to give the column name. And then last but not least, I can use a Boolean to select. So the slow way would be to create a conditional list with a for loop of looking for something specific. And if it's true, appending it, and then looking at the data frame of that list. Okay. That's the slow way. The fast way is to just kind of use the Boolean within that criteria that you're using. So here, there's my slow way. There's my slow way. I just created a list, my list for item in the Titanic age. Um, Append to the list where the item, so where the age is greater than 18. So we're pulling out all the adults. Okay. Here, that gives me 575 out of the whatever it was I had before, right? I just displayed my list. Okay. Now I can do the exact same thing using there's the quick way. I don't know what I did here. That's cool. This right here is the quick way. So if I say my data frame.age is greater than 18 within the square brackets, it gives me the same list. Okay. Actually, I think that was supposed to say that, but that's okay up there. I'm not sure why I said that. Okay. I can look at the shape of my data that's up there. Um, I can also do a few different, remember I talked about the not a numbers and blanks and things. Um, there's a dot is NA. Okay. So it's going to be data frame dot column name dot is NA. So it's going to be true if there's no number there, false if there is. Okay. And then its kind of counterpart is an is in. So data frame column is in and then the list. So is this list found in that column? Okay, so let me come back to my code. Oh, I didn't do an is in there, did I? I did not. So you can see if they're in there for is an NA and then is if you could check to see if there's a subset in. Now, if I know there's NAs, I can kind of get rid of some of that, okay? So there's a few different ways, table drop or table drop NA. Table drop NA, I believe, is the one that I did. Yeah. And that is going to remove data from your table. Okay, so for the first one, table.drop is going to be a column or a row name as a list. Axis is going to tell me whether I want to remove the column or the row, and then in place is whether it's dropped immediately or not. Okay, so for axis, if I say 0, it deletes the row. If I say 1, it deletes a column. Okay. More so often than not, though, you're going to use the drop NA, and that's the one that I used in mine over here. So how to drop it, in place, and subset. So how is any or all. So any means that any one of the columns has the NA in it. Okay. All means the entire row is NA. Okay. In place, again, it's that same drop immediately. It does default to false. And the subset is which column you want to check for values. So here I did do my subset equals age. Here I come through and when I do my shape, it gives me my numbers. Okay. So it didn't drop very many of them that were there. Okay. Again, it's really kind of slick at dealing with NAs. Working with data. Oh, my clock's wrong. Happy daylight savings time. I have no clue how to change it. Rock on. We're just gonna be an hour off for, I don't know, 6 months. So I can do the normal, oh, they should be a little bit add, subtract, multiply, divide, mod, power. Um, but when I do that, everything is going to happen column wise. So it's not like a matrix multiply. It's going to be column wise, arithmetic. That's what I was trying to find. The alignment must be the same. So the index of the data frames must match. And then I could also apply a function to every single element by doing the table dot apply or a dot transform. Okay. So back in my example, if I said my age times 2 and I just want to multiply everyone's age by 2, I can do so. I can also subtract the fare. I can subtract $35 from the fare. Okay. It doesn't matter. It just will do it to each one. Sorting, I can do a table dot sort values. Trying to follow along in my thing and I got lost. It's okay. So the list of the column names and then in place and then whether ascending or descending. Okay. And then it's going to do it on each column in turn. So whatever you do first, it's going to sort on that first. And then the second one that's sent, it will be kind of like within the first sort, it does the second one secondly. Oh, that was not even, it was words. It's okay. So here I can just say age dot sort values, and it will actually take my passenger information, sort it on the age. So my youngest was at 0.42 and my oldest was 80. And you can see here my ID was 804 for the youngest and 613 for the oldest. Okay, so here I can also sort. So if I say, okay, sort on fare first and then age, that's basically what this is doing. So here I sorted all the fares first, and then after that it looked at age. So here these three have equal fares. It did put the oldest male at the top of that sort of sub list, and it did the same thing here. So for 263 for the fare, it put the oldest person at the top. Okay. So I kind of played with sorting. Now, grouping, it's gonna do the split and then apply combine model, right? So it's gonna do the apply combine kind of together, and the split part of it is not going to be viewable. Okay, so to do the split, I'm going to do kind of like a group by, and what you're sending it is how you want it to group. Okay, yeah, so I did it here. When I put that in through my Python, it kind of doesn't really give me much information. It kind of gives me like object information, and that's why I kind of said it's not really visible or viewable to, you know, so it's not helpful. And then I can do any of those things that we've talked about before to do the apply and combine and kind of put it back together again, right? So I could do the min, I could do the max, I could do those aggregate functions and putting things together, and it'll be happy. Indexing, I'm just going to talk about it kind of fast. It's not really that necessary or that important. Now, table.setIndex column name, I could have done it that way when I imported my CSV and said, okay, use a passenger ID as my index, but doing it just while you're doing the import is fine. And then I can also reset my index and I can also sort on my index. And again, that's, just some index manipulation. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about that. But finally, we've got some, graphing, right? So every argument that is within that data frame is passed to matplotlib. And so I can do a table.plot. I can specify what kind. So this, I included my matplot. Dude, my matplotlib. There's like not even anything there and it's yelling at me. Sheesh. Oh, anyway, it's fine. It showed up. And here I just plotted the the whole data frame. Okay. It's going to give me too much information. It's not going to be readable, but it literally plotted in a kind of a scatter plot each one of my column headings. So if you remember coming back up here, the ones that kind of had that numeric in there, right? Survived, what class they were, what age, what their fare was, and things like that. But once you get it into the data frame, you can use the normal matplotlib techniques. You can send it just a series of it to plot instead, and that works just as well. So say I wanted to plot just the ages, I should be able to plot just the ages. Um, I should be able to. I say I should, but it already threw up on me here once. Let's see. Okay. So let's see. Let's see what happens if I go age and plot. Okay. So I'm able to pull them out using those keys, just like creating a list, but I can just refer to it as data frame dot column name dot plot. Okay. So this is plotting the ages versus the passenger ID. So actually what might be kind of cool would be like to sort it and then kind of graph it and see what it looks like. Um, but yeah, I know Titanic, that's not a great, I don't know. I need to find a better data set to use because I feel like it's a little bit of a morbid data set to use, but it's what I got. So that's what I'm using. Okay. So that's what I have today for, now I can't get it to close. For pandas. We're going to talk about modeling on Wednesday, but, don't leave me yet. Um, we've got, so I don't even know where to start. Our Jupyter Hub, for some reason, it's not recognizing pandas, which is a problem because that's what our next project is. So I'm having a problem with pandas. And let's see, reload. Hello, wake up. Okay, let me close all this. Oh, I've got so many things open right now. That's not what I want. Okay, why can't I find the one I want? There we go. There we go. Close that, close that. Oh, I've got so much stuff on my screen. Just ignore that. Okay, so let's do this and let's do this. So I was having problems getting just flat out pandas to be, I see your hand, Amber. Hold on one second. Um, to be just running at all in the our Jupyter Labs. Okay. So what I did is I did strip down a copy of what um, we were to do, and I put it in Moodle. So in Moodle, there are two different CSV files. There's housing. I'm trying to make it bigger so I can read it. Panda, nope, 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 nope. Where are they? Hold on. I'm so sorry. There we go. Nope.
I
Lord
was
have
gonna let
mercy.
you know a solution to it because I
What
got
is
it
your
to work.
solution? Did you really?
Um, yeah, like my pandas is working in it. So if you just use the not the kernel that like we just use the regular like Python 3 kernel or whatever, it works.
See, I tried doing that and it wouldn't work on mine.
Mine's working when I switched it to the like kernel that you told us to use that had everything inputted into it, then it ran like into a bunch of issues.
Yeah, same.
So if you stay on the
Mubarak says his works too.
the kernel like Python 3 kernel or whatever, it should work just fine.
Yeah,
Because
see,
I'm in
look.
I'm in like part B. I'm like past.
See, mine's in the Python 3 and
Hmm.
it still threw up on my Panda.
Hmm. Well, I think it might be like might be a
I think it's based on user.
yeah, because mine is
Yeah.
working just fine. And I
Okay.
mean, it didn't work with the kernel that like you told us to use, but it
Right, the
worked with the
school kernel.
regular, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you can get it to work with the school kernel, go for it. If you can't, I went ahead and put, yeah, I did. Cause look, cause I even did like this. So here, if I come here and I add before it, pip, right? And I run this, it literally tells me that it's already there. But see, then there's some kind of like not writable thing. Then it tells me to restart, so I restart it. This thing hates me, y'all. Like for real. In a real way, it hates me. And then I go and do that again, and I kind of get the same thing. It says no module. So it's like it's not recognizing my pandas. So I don't know. So if you can get it to work in in the class one, more power to you. If not, I put everything in Moodle. You can download and put it wherever you need to. Okay.
I was gonna say, VS Code, like if nobody can get that to work, VS Code is pretty easy to use. It's the same thing, and you can do it in there.
Cool. Cool. Sounds like a plan. Um, but yeah, this one's pretty laid back. Okay, it's pretty free form. You are going to read in the two different CSVs, one's housing permits and one's vacant buildings. Okay. So like the very first thing, it just says do your import. So import pandas, import matplotlib, as PLT, and then you can go into part A, which is reading the housing permits and getting rid of the NAs that are available in the different column headings. Okay. I think it's not due. I think we have a week. So it's not this one. It's a week and a half. You have a week and a half for this one. Okay.
There's also stuff that says like CS403 should be doing a different part than the other thing.
Yeah.
So we should use like the lambda function
Yes,
instead of
please. Yes,
okay.
please.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't need to do both.
Nah. No, 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 no. Just do the one that says 403 students do this part. I
Okay,
guess I
sounds
should have
good.
stripped that out too, so sorry about that.
You're good. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns?